What's up, big
And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto episode 1301. Today is Wednesday, February 26, 2025, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto. Most days, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m.-ish. And today's top stories: U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF sees largest ever daily outflow of $938 million. SEC acknowledges filing for grayscale spot Cardano ETF. Stablecoin firms should be registered in the U.S., says none other than Circo's Jeremy Allaire. SEC backs off. Uniswap announces an investigation. OKX pleads guilty, pays $505 million to settle DOJ charges. Hackers are making fake GitHub projects to steal crypto. And Ohio introduces bill preventing state taxes on crypto payments. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these crypto prices. And regardless of what people are out here in these crypto and YouTube streets saying, listen, the price is looking great. The market is looking great, alive and well. I mean, market psychology at its finest right now, right? The value is still there, but for some people, the price is considerably lower than what they would have wanted right now. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek at this. All right, Bitcoin is coming in at $87,243, down 0.62% on 24-hour clock, down 8.8% on the 7-day clock. Ethereum is at $2,434, again proving itself to be weak. If Bitcoin isn't doing anything, up 2.55%, down 9.5 on the week. Ripple number 4, 2.26 2026 cent, up 3.84%. Number 6, Solana, $137, up 1.16%. Number 8, Dogecoin at 20 cent, up 3.57%. Number 9, Cardano, we'll be talking about them, 67 cent, up 5%, of course, on the news today. And number 10, Tron at 22 cent, up 0.65% themselves. Fear and greed index has taken a hit. It is down to a 26 again. This makes no sense. Bitcoin, for all those who are saying it's going to 160, whatever, like essentially you got that almost half off right now. There's no reason why the fear and greed index should have dipped another 10 points or so, which it did. Bitcoin dominance is at a 59.96, so a little bit under 60, and Ethereum dominance is at a 10.13%. So at least Ethereum maintaining that 10%. Bitcoin slipped a little bit, which means there's probably some of that capital going to altcoins and people taking profits as well. Woo, man. Again, it makes no sense. Fear and greed index makes no sense, but I am glad to see it because that just adds more time and more Bitcoin out there for those who want to accumulate. So there you have it. All right, really quick, some shout outs. Why is this chat not working on my restream? I don't know. But let me go to the YouTube, get some quick shout outs in the chat. What up, though, to all the warriors? Welcome back to the show. Saber Saves, Dear Bit, BK Crypto, Lord Smith, Humney, Hyben. Let's see, Super Mario, Just Call Me L, Shanti Edwards. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I expect the news cycle to probably be slow here on out for the next few weeks until we get another major update. I think the price is baked in, folks. Ever since Trump was technically voted in, not necessarily, sworn in, but when he was voted in and elected, we saw the bull run essentially commence then. And I think that was the event, right? It wasn't a sell the news event to where when he was actually there in inauguration, we saw the price dip. But we haven't seen a lot of price movement since then. So in the past year, we've had Bitcoin ETFs and other ETPs and ETFs pop up. We had the Trump and making America first for crypto. He created those task force. Well, until they actually start to, I think, give further guidance, we might see a little lull in the news, and that's only going to last for another month or two, essentially, because if you remember, I think he gave them maybe 90 days max to get something rolling with these different task forces and the like. So I think right now we're just in this little lull period, so we're not getting a lot of news. Also, a lot of moves are being made on the back end. Like I said, now, and I think institutions and organizations are also seeing it, is the best time to do whatever the hell you want into crypto or Bitcoin. It is the wild, wild west. I think companies are about to take advantage of that. They're already taking advantage of that. Banks are as well. So expect to see more news kind of roll out here in the next month or so after these actions happen and people begin to report on it. So with that being said, not necessarily a story, something I just want to quickly go over. It kind of has to do with the price of Bitcoin, and that's the Bybit hacker. They're laundering, they're still laundering that money. You know, Bybit got hit for $1.4 billion. They're saying it's a Lazarus group out of North Korea. Well, it looks like $335 million of that has already been laundered. They're mixing it up using Ether, swishing it here, sending it there. But they're saying at this pace, another 8 to 10 days, they should have the rest of the actual money laundered as well. So on-chain data shows that the hacker has moved 45,900 Ether, worth about 113 million in the past 24 hours, bringing the total amount laundered to more than 135,000 ETH, valued at $335 million. So they still have 900 million left to go, 363,900 ETH. Um, as it says here, it might take 8 to 10 days to clear off. If you haven't heard, Bybit has declared war on the North Korean Lazarus group. More talk, because at the end of the day, this is a cyber crime. You're talking crypto is more than just declaring war to actually get that back. But these type of events do affect the market, right? Is this capital going to be removed not only off exchanges but out of the entire crypto market? Will it be cashed out, right? Will it stay in crypto? Will it stay in some of these different markets? Like, these are things that can affect the price from a small amount. Again, we're talking 1.4 billion. Those loans were repaid back already. That money was added back already. That capital was put back, but still, that capital had to go somewhere. So even if we're talking about a 2 to 3% loss in the market, or a 2 to 3% uh, volatility to add some sideways movement. Like, that's one of the reasons why when you add everything together. So, of course, we got the Bybit hackers are still on the go. Um, see US spot Bitcoin ETFs see largest ever daily outflow of $938 million. To add to that $1.4 billion hack, you get a news story like this, or this event actually happens. The biggest question I have, which we've already kind of looked at, we know that the market will respond 10 to 12% to these ETF inflows and outflows. I wonder if the market already responded, right? So this article came out 8 hours ago. It is a Wednesday, so the market could have already responded, and that's why we're looking at this 87,000 Bitcoin, or there is more to go, right? Bitcoin ETFs in the US have seen more than $2.4 billion in net outflows over February as Bitcoin struggles to maintain a price rally. To me, it's not really a struggle to maintain a price rally, because to begin with, a lot of this price rally was started by the institutions buying the ETFs, right? Saying we have to accumulate and stack more Bitcoin. Eventually, there was going to be a day where they like, well, we've had enough for now. Or even if that's not the day, about, as I've already told you, that all these companies like BlackRock are doing are rebalancing and pivoting their portfolio. So what could be a tech stock or a steel and environment portfolio today could turn to a Bitcoin ETF portfolio tomorrow, and then the following day it can go right back into environmental or clean energy or something like that. It's all the same money, just being mixed around. Again, I think they're manipulating the market when they do this, not only so that they can get their wins off their ETFs, but so that they can get their wins off the settlements. I'm pretty sure that these companies are working with exchanges. They're letting exchanges know, hey, we plan to move $1 billion of Bitcoin on Monday. We plan to move 500,000 on Wednesday, or whatever, so and so forth. And I'm sure exchanges are looking at their algorithms. They're looking at their longs and shorts and saying, hey, how can we eat off this as well? They're all making big money off it. The retail and end users are the ones who are losing. So this is one of the issues already when you're talking about opening this thing up to derivatives and institutions. This is one of the things that comes with it. But yeah, on the good days, right? We'll have the good days. We'll have the good months where you'll have $1 billion of ETF inflows, and you'll see that Bitcoin price respond to that with a 7 to 8% gain. But we'll also have these days as well to where BlackRock wakes up and says, it's time to play the money ticker game, take the money out. And if you remember, I said this is probably going to start happening now, a little bit less frequent now that more eyes are going to be on it. So start to look at every 4 to 6 weeks. I can expect to see a similar story like this in about 4 to 6 weeks again. They're going to repump the market, get it back up to 105, 110, and then expect to see that same outflow day of $1.4 billion and see a major market dip, or at least major to what people are, are used to now. They want to see that 100K Bitcoin. Anything less is super scary for a lot of folks. But again, this is due to these ETF outflows. It's nothing we can really control. If the outflow has already been accounted for, it kind of makes sense as far as this 87,000 price point. If there's more to go, then maybe we drop to an 82, 84, and then we kind of hang around there. But I don't think it's going to stay there because we've been seeing these companies and institutions coming right back a week or two later with the same amount of inflows, right? They're just playing the money ticker game. They're just moving the portfolio. So as quick as this shot down, you can expect to see it go right back up as soon as these inflows reconvene. So next week, if we see, hey, we have $500 million of inflows within 4 days, whoever, expect to see that $93,000 Bitcoin price bounce right back, which is great for the market. Not great for market sentiment as far as seeing that the institution controls so much, but it's great for the market, right? So we'll continue to watch that and see what happens next. All right. What else do we have? SEC. Oh my goodness. We keep talking about this, the fact that they're acknowledging these things. So the headline is the story itself, but the SEC acknowledges filing for grayscale spot Cardano ETF. I could have sworn this was the second or third spot ETF filing I've seen now. In addition to this, I know they have a Polkadot ETF that's waiting to hear back, not grayscale, but just in general. There's a Polkadot ETF. There's now an Ethereum ETF trying to make happen. There's a Cardano ETF, and then there, of course, there's a Solana ETF on the cup. So right there, you're looking at about 4 different altcoin ETFs. With Cardano being one of the strongest as far as community goes, and people wanting to push that through Cardano. Um, being one of those more popular ones. So again, not going to rehash everything. I can see all of these ETF happenings. I can see all the ETFs happening because in order to say no, you have to give a reason. And then once they get those reasons, most of these projects are just going to go back and reverse engineer the issues and come out on top as far as, hey, everything you said was wrong. Nothing's wrong now. How can we move forward? So, with the exception of it being market cap, right? But I think this is going to happen. This is going to be good, not only for those who like Cardano, but the altcoin market as a whole. However, my only caution is going to be what we're seeing today with the Bitcoin ETF outflows almost equating to $1 billion in the price of Bitcoin. This is going to get like hyperbolic when you look at altcoins. When you start having uh, Ethereum ETFs, Cardano ETFs, Polkadot ETFs, like I said, and then you have those ETF outflows in one day, right? Then you have what? $5 billion of ETF outflows of those, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, all at one time. Because again, all it is just one or two companies pivoting those portfolios. The price of crypto those days would be insane when you talk about the dip. So it's an easy way for them to manipulate the market and bet on the market. Um, and that's what they want. We saw when the futures was released with SIBO and CME, one of their CEOs came out and said, we're going to tame the Bitcoin market. This was in the end of 2017, top of 2018. I didn't believe it. I remember the live show. I was like, you're not going to tame the Bitcoin market. And they came and tamed the Bitcoin market, at least for a couple years, right? Those futures derivatives allow Bitcoin to stay sideways and even dip for a couple years. So if you don't think the fix is in and the same thing is happening this way, you're absolutely crazy. They're going to get their hooks into everything they can in the market. They're going to derivatize it the way they can. And then whenever they decide to wake up and say, hey, let's take off 30% of the balance books of crypto using our derivative products or ETFs or settlements and watch how it responds, like we shall see it. I think right now these are all just test periods. They're testing to see what happens. They pull off some of these ETFs and they push it back. And I think they're getting the response they want because the even bigger thing is why are you like, I don't understand why they're even rotating portfolios of this size, right? Like, why are you moving $1 billion ETF portfolio if it's only a year old? Why wouldn't you let it sit unless you are manipulating the market? So I think the same thing's gonna happen with the Cardano ETF. Um, that will take some time, of course, but in the in the short term, you can see this ETF eventually get passed, and you can see the price of Cardano and whatever other altcoin you like essentially triple right overnight. You see people start to buy the bags. Uh, the institutional market is already excited for the moves like Cardano and Solana. They've heard about these tokens. They heard the names. They can't get their customers and clients exposure to this and the new way, the modern way, that is just directly buying the asset. So they have to implement that traditional way of adding that ETF. So again, I think it's going to happen. I know a lot of you are excited, but I'm telling you now, this crypto market is going to get like it is going to get even crazier, folks. It's more. You thought the movie was over. You push pause and you realize there's another hour and 15 minutes left. All right, we're not even halfway done with this thing. Jake said Litecoin is coming first before all ETFs are filed. That's right. Litecoin ETF is going to be out there. Margin call ETF. That's the reason the big money buys up these cryptos to short the shit out of them and rebuy to make profits. I agree. Hey, I want to see who caught it. There we go, Jake. I did just make up that word, derivatize. You like that? I made it sound so smooth. In my head, when I said it, I was like, I wonder if everybody's going to catch me on that. Thank you, Jake, for catching me on that. And listen, I don't care. We're making up new laws as we go. We're making up everything else as we go. I can make up some good, cool sounding words. I think derivatize is an amazing one right there. Listen, when I said it in my head, I was like, I wonder who's going to catch that. That was done with intent. That was done with so much intent. All right, this was a funny story. Again, most of these stories, you know how it goes. The story is the headline. Stablecoin firms should be registered in the US, says Circle's Jeremy Allaire. All right. Bottom line is this, folks. Circle is backed by Goldman Sachs, which is a Wall Street wealth institution. We already know there's one of the largest wealth institutions on Wall Street. So, of course, the people who are like capping for the Southern District of New York, trying to suck the teat of every governmental agency out there, and loves the nanny state to nurse us all. Why? Because it adds layers of competition, it adds barriers to entry, and people like Goldman Sachs can stay on front. They can stay on top, right? Goldman Sachs, they created Circle, and now they're saying, hey, in order to have a stable coin, you should have to go through American regulations. Well, you don't say Circle. Why? Because that would like eliminate 90% of your competition. Folks, Circle is like the largest stable coin out there, like in the United States. Again, and I'm not sure if you saw it. I know Tether, and I think the story covered. I saw it earlier. I was scrolling, but I did see a story come out where Tether said, "Hey, there's a war on us." There's been a war on Tether for forever, for the most part. Here we go. Competitors and politicians intend to kill Tether. Wrote Paulo Ardino, the CEO. He put on an X post. While our competitors' business model should be to build a better product and even bigger distribution network, the real intent is to kill Tether. I agree, and it's really simple. For those of Circle, like, think of it this way: why does a stablecoin issuer or anybody in crypto want more regulation? There is literally no reason to want more regulation outside of getting rid of competition. And I'm with Tether on this. Instead of trying to do your old dirty tactics of getting rid of competition and adding more regulatory hurdles and everything, just make a better product, man. Just make a better product, having better distribution methods. Like, you don't have to do the old tricks unless you know you do not have a superior product, which again, you look at Goldman Sachs and Circle, you know, is super centralized, right? They care less about the ethos of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And that's why you have these type of companies and people at these companies saying, daddy, mommy, government, we need, what are they asking for? We need everyone to be registered in the US. And again, this doesn't sound as easy as it says here. We're just like, well, just register in the US. Why wouldn't you? Well, because it costs like $3 million to do it, right? You want compliance departments, you want licenses that cost 250K a pop. Like, it is like, just the extortion is absolutely insane. But again, this is Circle co-founders. Also, what is it? Also Goldman Sachs lapdog Jeremy Allaire is saying all dollar-based stablecoin issuers should register in the US, citing consumer protection and fair compensation. Yeah, okay. You want to protect consumers and add and add for fair competition in the crypto market. Right.
Oodly, Italy, oodly, loony oodly,
noodly doodly
Italy,
diddly
oodly,
doddly,
loony
diddly
oodly,
daddler
and
ratner.
maple idly.
So just to get this straight now, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. Goldman Sachs, Circle, they no longer care about profit and being number one. They care about protecting people and fair competition in the crypto market. Listen, it's just so insulting when they do it this way. I would much rather them say, like, I would be more with them if they were just like, look, we an American company, we're trying to put America first, but get everybody else is making it harder for them. You at least have my vote then and be like, oh, okay, I get what we're doing. We're just doing some America first. All right, we're just doing gang first. And you got my vote on that. All right, I could get, but to do this whole, we need to protect the market and make fair competition and really Circle, really Goldman Sachs. We need fair competition and we need to protect the market from the likes of you. This is insane, but I love it. I'm not mad at it. This is the game. You got to play it how it's going to be played. But again, this is the stuff to me that actually destroys the market and messes the market up. Because even as Tether pointed out, they're not even concerned about making a superior product. They're just worried about not having as much competition so they can make more money. And that's how we get to where we're at to begin with, which is a financial crisis in 2008 and then a white paper in 2009 and Bitcoin or whatever. It was late 2008. But this is literally how we even get to Bitcoin and to crypto and all this technology to begin with, because human participants messed up the old market, 2008 financial crash, right? They lied, stole, and cheated on housing loans and rating these loans and using nationalized money and trying to bail out banks. All these human participants messed this up. And this is why Bitcoin was created. And now here we are, 15 years later, we see the same or similar human participants from these same companies, the likes of Goldman Sachs, attempting to jack up an entirely new market the same way by thinking money first. How can we bleed it dry? ETF derivative. None of this stuff, none of these institutions are breaking. How about this? What technology has BlackRock brought to the space? I mean, we're literally having a party. Everybody's invited and they're not bringing nothing. They're not even paying to get in. They're just walking in, tearing shit up. What technology? I don't want to know about the money. I don't want to know, well, I paid $10,000 for me and all my friends to get here. Yeah, well, the space don't even hold that enough room for all y'all. Okay, like you can't pay us enough. It doesn't hold enough room. So, what exactly does the likes of people and organizations like BlackRock? Let's add Circle to that too with the stablecoin. What new technology are all these organizations with their grand resources, all the smart people they have, and everything else? What are they bringing to the space? They're literally not bringing anything but capital. They're just pumping bags. And that's not even a good thing, as I keep pointing out, because they're pumping it long enough to manipulate it. Like, I just saw an article come out today saying the reasons why you can't change, or it's difficult to change the $21 million or the 21 million Bitcoin cap. I'm like, here we go. They're trying to bust down that narrative again, folks. It is absolutely insane. But again, we'll continue to see this. But yeah, like, come on, Circle, Goldman Sachs, they're not here to save you. None of these companies are here to save you. They've already made their foray and their interest into crypto, and none of them have come waving a flag saying, look what we've invented. BlackRock didn't come saying, hey, look at this new trick that we can do with Bitcoin and crypto. No, they said, look how we can derivatize it. You like that word? I use it twice. I'm using it 3 times to make it official. They've shown you how they can derivatize your Bitcoin and crypto and make all these different versions of paper money around it that actually has no value. They've shown you that. They've shown you an old trick, but none of them have brought in new tech, which is actually crazy when you say it out loud, because if they actually care about the technology first, which would bring the money, they would use their grand resources, and they will have already I can't even talk. They would have already unrolled something that would have been amazing. I'll at least give Chase a half a clap, because at least Chase, Jamie the Dino Diamond, if you remember, they were working on their own Quorum blockchain and all this other stuff. I mean, granted, it was a waste of time and resources because you could just use Ripple or any other crypto out there, but they were working on their own blockchain, their own crypto and stuff. Like, they were trying to do their own thing. I at least give them props for that. But I mean, you look at the likes of Circle, you look at the likes of BlackRock, and some of these other folks. It's like you're not even doing nothing. You're just coming in here and you're hustling. You're showing the old school how to flip a new product and make money off it on the old school way, but you're not actually offering anything. So let's just be clear about these companies. And I think that's why I hate them, I hate hearing them as talking heads when they have them on these CNBCs and everything else. I'm like, yo, you got somebody who just entered the crypto market in 2022, but you're interviewing them as a subject matter expert because they bought a bunch of ETFs? Like, no, that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. But of course, the show must go on. So can't be mad at that. Speaking of the show must go on, uh, shout out to the SEC, right? Shout out to the SEC. Never thought I would say that. Shout out to the SEC for getting the longest slapping I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
The SEC has been getting their shit kicked in for the last 3 weeks. All right. Starting with old boy going to the IT desk. I mean, it was downhill from that. Shout out to those folks at the Southern District in New York for resigning. This is why they resigned. They was like, look, man, if it's bad now, it's about to get worse. I don't want my name attached to it. Everybody at the SEC, like, to me, it's absolutely hilarious. And if you work at the SEC, I want you today on your break to go to like Party City or some store. I don't know, even go to like a CVS or Walgreens and buy like some, I don't know, buy some white makeup and some red lipstick. And I want you to go in the mirror on break and paint a clown face on yourself. That should be my next thumbnail. I'm gonna have a clown face with the SEC. It's gonna say like the head of the SEC with a clown face or something. And here's the reason why. How would you all feel? In fact, I'll do it in a military way, so it's super polarizing. Imagine being in a foreign country, fighting a war for like 8 years, and then your boss coming like, all right, let's start helping them rebuild. Wait, help them rebuild? Yeah, we're gonna work together now. We're gonna help them. In fact, be like, yo, I just tore it down. I know. Go help them rebuild now. You're on the same team, same fight. Listen, the people at the SEC and every other federal regulatory agency the last 4 to 5 years have been, oh, Bitcoin's wrong, crypto criminals, this is bad, this, that. We're doing charges against this company, we're taking charges against this company, this company, all to come back and be like, all right, we dropping charges, we backing off, we apologize, our bad. Hey, our top guy, he don't even work here no more, man. He had the IT desk in the basement and he don't have his red stapler with him. Like, how would you feel as a professional, as a law? I mean, you're a legal professional. You're a lawyer. Some of you got your JDs. You think you're the smartest people in the room. You got to understand, people, the SEC is full of people who think they are the smartest Americans and smartest humans on the planet. Yet you've been doing ass backward work for 4 years and you got to pivot. Hey, even if you are the smartest, you're not the best at leading your life, apparently. Because I mean, wow. Imagine driving down the road, like you're taking a road trip and you've been going up this freeway for 6 hours, and then all of a sudden you see a sign that's like, yo, you're going the wrong way. You got to turn it around. And there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do but to get on that ramp, make that U and get to driving. Oh my goodness. SEC, you should have clown faces painted on you. All right. You should have clown faces painted on you, and you should be thanking President Trump for not aggressively going after you all criminally. Let me be clear about that, because I still believe what the SEC did, along with the CFTC, their Operation Choke Points, and everything else, it is as treasonous as it gets, including the Southern District of New York. It is as treasonous as it gets. They intentionally stopped, slowed down, and extorted American business folks, all because it didn't go along with the 10 people on Wall Street that have been making them money the last 200 years. Like, oh my. In the newest version, SEC backs off. Uniswap announces end of investigation. Shout out to Uniswap. Should have never been under investigation to begin with. Hey, SEC.
Got him. Got him.
I'm about to lock myself out of my laptop. One more time.
Got him. Got him.
All right, hey, the SEC, here, the SEC jobs,
It's gone.
the SEC jobs.
And it's gone.
Boy, hey. Oh man, ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun. Hey, my Elmer Fudd shirt too. Ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, is it, SEC? Oh man, what just a week ago you was over here extorting crypto companies left and right. You was popping them for $1 million here, 10 million there, 50 million here. Oh man, the platform called The Move, a huge win for DeFi after reports have suggested the SEC may be radically changing its approach to crypto enforcement in 2025. Here's what's even better, folks. Like, I actually take something back I said the other day in my analysis. I keep saying, hey, if we get a polarizing opposite of an administration after the Trump administration leave, we can see all this appended and essentially a full 180 and the full enforcement action coming back to crypto. I actually take that back. Even if Trump leaves and we get somebody who thinks the complete opposite and who doesn't want America to be crypto first and all these other things, now it's about to get into territory where precedent is being set. You got to remember, these were the first cases of all this stuff. So the first case of going after a decentralized platform the size of Uniswap, which if you would have pushed through and won, same as Ripple, same as every other platform, library credit. These same cases are setting precedent. So if they would have saw this through the same way they would saw Ripple through, which is why I kept saying it was so important for XRP to beat the SEC in the United States. I wanted them to win because I'm like, hey, if Ripple loses, like you're looking at 99, 98% of the crypto market losing the exact same moment. The moment they said would have said Ripple's a security and Ripple can't do this and XRP this, every other token in existence outside of Bitcoin would have fell under those same guidelines outside of Ethereum too, only because they were intentionally saying Ethereum didn't, even though it did. But my point is that I wanted Ripple to win because I'm like, yo, this could be the end of crypto. The same with all these cases, the same with Uniswap, the SEC going after Uniswap, one of the largest what they claim to be largest decentralized platforms out there, projects out there. If the SEC would have cracked Uniswap and won, you're talking about every DeFi project out there would have had a microscope over it. Now they're backing off officially. Now they investigate this. This is it. Now I will say that's from a legal point of view, this is maybe one of the best things they could have done since they know they weren't going to win, because now technically a decision hasn't been made, so they can revisit this in 4 to 5 years once Trump is gone. However, I think the damage will be done. The damage is done. If I'm Uniswap or any of these platforms or projects and I have my litigation, my legal team, no, we're using this. You don't get to bring up charges and then we say, all right, let's fight. And then you're like, all right, we good. No, you want some? Come get some, brother. Like, no, it's time to put hands and feet to face. We doing this one, right? Like we're outside already. It's too late to go back in. So it is crazy that the SEC then went to these good people Uniswap house, right? They didn't beat on the door. They honking the horn. They out front bumping music. They brought a little of their friends is running around in the front yard. Everybody laughing. Everybody thinking it's jokes and stuff. Then all of a sudden, you get a new administration in that's like, oh, they call back the oldest kid to the front door and say, grab this. Go outside and make sure your brothers and sisters are all right. All right, all right. And Uniswap legal team went outside. They saw the SEC on the front lawn and they said, what's up? Ain't no FUD over here, baby. What we doing out here today? And the SEC saw what type of heat Uniswap was bringing outside. And they say, you know what? We're going to go ahead and back up off this investigation. That's my narration of what actually happened. All right. How you like it? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Uniswap Labs, the developer behind the Uniswap decentralized exchange, reported that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has dropped its probe into the firm. Wow. Last but not least, I got to go here too. I mean, even if we don't say it's treason, can we at least agree it's waste, fraud, and abuse? As the federal government using taxpayer money, you don't get to go on these wild goose chases for 2 to 3 years and nothing comes of it. Folks, I need you all to realize this is like the third or fourth investigation the SEC is backing off or letting go or whatever else. Fine, cool. To me, that's only half of it. The other half, I need people's jobs. Like we legitimately need heads to roll on this, and not just Gary Gensler and one guy go to the IT desk. No, I want to see at least 10 to 15 people of their top crypto lawyers, and I want to see them fired, publicly disgraced. You don't get to use taxpayer money and go after American companies with American money and then don't even see it through and then just say, well, I guess whatever, maybe we got it wrong. Then you're incompetent is what you're telling me. You shouldn't be there. Like you don't get to run it back again. We're gonna switch positions and run it back. No, you had your chance, SEC. You failed. You failed. You couldn't prosecute these companies. You couldn't do nothing with them. You had years to do it for some of them. And now you're coming back like, oh, okay, I guess, we just made a little blunder. According to February 25th X post, the SEC concluded its investigation into Uniswap and has no plans to pursue enforcement action against the firm. The report followed Uniswap's announcement that received a Wells notice from the SEC in April 2024, while the commission was under the leadership of then Chair Gary Gensler. This is a huge win for DeFi and reaffirms what we've always known, that the technology we build is on the right side of the law and our work is on the right side of history, says Uniswap. Shout out to Uniswap for slapping the SEC. I mean, goodness gracious, as fellow Americans, how much money do we want to see go to waste by people who are incompetent? I mean, really, like you all tell me. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get preachy, but this is what I mean when I say everybody's talking about the president election and president. I like this president. I like Trump. I like Kamala. I like Trump. And it's like, this is the shit you're supposed to actually be voting on. You're actually supposed to be pressing your mayors, your governors, your senators about the SEC right now, doing this with your taxpayer money. This is as fervent, as much energy as you all had for the presidential election. You need to have that same energy for the SEC's Department of Crypto and everything else. But we don't, right? We don't. It's only for the top spots. We don't care about everything else in government. We only care about the president because he or she controls the entire thing we do in the United States, right? That is not correct. Go talk to your local people about the SEC, folks. They should not have the type of power they have to change an entire market as soon as it opens, all right, for business. Let's see. OKX is in the news. OKX pleads guilty, pays $505 million to settle Department of Justice charges. That's right. Department of Justice said we'll pick up where the rest of these departments are losing. Now, DOJ has been cracking. I think they just got with Binance. Was it Binance for about what 4.5 billion, as well as 30 years and some more change from their CEO, but they're not done. OKX's AuxK's fintech company Ltd Limited agreed to pay over $500 million worth of fines for operating an unlicensed money transmitting business. Again, this is extortion, and the finance United States says you don't have a piece of paper, because that is all we're talking about. They're saying you don't have a piece of paper that costs what $500,000 to get, so we're going to charge you per account. That's the way it usually works. We're going to charge you per account or per transaction. Let's say OKX has 20 million US users or something. There's been 10 transactions per user times 500 transaction. You get 505 million. Like, that's essentially what they're doing. But there isn't like real crime. It's like I said, they didn't buy a piece of paper that says they're compliant in the United States. That is literally what happened. Now, what's even crazier is how much capital did they make? How much capital did the United States say they made if they're hitting them for $500 million, at least times four, right? At least a few billion. So it looks like the charges following an investigation from the U.S. Department of Justice, paying $84 million worth of penalties while forfeiting $421 million worth of fees earned mostly from institutional clients. Wow. Yeah, OKX said the number of U.S. clients involved amounted to a small percentage of the crypto exchange total customer base, that none of those customers remain on the platform. They said we cooperate with the U.S. Department of Justice. We had a small amount of people. I mean, they seem pretty happy. We have resolved the investigation. And again, this is where it gets to me. If you have, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. You can't have a fine of this high. I don't want to see fines over 50. I don't want to see fines over $20 million and no jail time. That's stupid as it gets. You're telling me you did $500 million, $505 million worth of bad stuff, right? You done $505 million worth of negativity, but it doesn't warrant jail time. I get it, gang. I'm not trying to make you mad, United States. I understand this is one of our biggest hustles. This is one of our biggest plays, and that's the extortion play. I mean, gangsters and extortion in the United States has been here since it's been here, right? Weren't we terrorists to Britain? Like, we've never been good people. Let's talk about it. But on a serious note, how can you have $505 million of damages or injustice and no one is going to jail or prison over it? That to me screams money grab, like nothing more, nothing less. So it is what it is. The gang's gonna do what the gang always does. We're gonna go get that money. And on OKX's side, they seem okay with it, which again brings me back to my last point. How much did they actually make? Enough for the government to take. So shout out to OKX. They seem to be all right with it. United States is still doing our thug dizzle, so you can't be mad at that. And the game continues to be played. All right, last couple of stories. Hackers are making fake GitHub projects to steal crypto. Again, I want to make sure you all are leery that these hackers are getting even more and more sophisticated every year, even along the likes of having fake offices, fake secretaries. I mean, I've talked about all of it. I've seen it all already. Like literally people with 3-week secretaries, where it's like you call them on the fourth week, the whole office is gone, right? They're doing all that stuff. Kaspersky, I always pronounce that wrong, found that at least one victim lost 5 Bitcoin worth around $442,000 to a malware riddled fake project in November. That is right. Hackers are creating hundreds of fake GitHub projects aiming to dupe users into downloading crypto and credential stealing malware, says cybersecurity firm Kaspersky. So again, GitHub, push a lot of people toward GitHub as well. I'm like, hey, make sure the project is real. You can check the code, things like that. This is normally where projects begin, right? They start to code it. They want to leave their code open source for others to see, or just host the code there. But it's nowhere, most hackers have actually kind of settled in on where they're saying, hey, we're going to actually do fake code or a fake project from its inception, even at again the source code spot for people to download. Usually you see it later on, right? You see it as an actual finished product, as a website, as a app in iOS store. You don't see it on GitHub already. So this is adding a new level of sophistication to where you're seeing a hacker say, no, 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 we're going to go to like literally where projects are created and start from there. That is a new thing to see. So you definitely got to be careful about it. It looks like here, Kaspersky analyst George Kucherin said in the February 24th report that the malware campaign, which the company dubbed Get Venom, has seen hackers created hundreds of repositories on GitHub, hosting fake projects that contain remote access Trojans, rats, info stealers, and clipboard hijackers. Some fake projects include a Telegram bot that manages Bitcoin wallets. So again, you can see people download that. And a tool to automate Instagram account automations or interactions, excuse me. So yeah, those are two that people would definitely download. Kucherin added that malware makers went to great lengths to make projects look legitimate by including well-designed information and instruction files that were possibly generated using AI tools. I think they were. And this is something I've already kind of talked about on the show a week or so ago because I've been experimenting with it myself. And that's yes, using AI to make all of this stuff essentially. It's not working yet, but it's almost working. Let me put it like that. I'll take it back. It is working, but it's working on like a very rudimentary level. To where if you know what you're doing, you can kind of spot it. But it is, I would say, at the basic bottom line, it is working. So it's only so long before I can tell you the next step. Somebody is going to create an API to sync the AI app with a GitHub repository where they'll literally just be creating all types of stuff from scratch, left and right, nonstop. So I can see that happening. But again, they said those behind the malicious projects also artificially inflated the number of comments or changes to the projects or commits or changes to the project, alongside adding multiple references to specific changes to give the appearance that the project was being actively improved. So again, they're making this look real. They're saying they're adding timestamps every few minutes. They're making it look real. So regardless of how the fake project presents itself, Kucherin said they all have malicious payloads that download components such as an info stealer that takes saved credentials, crypto wallet data, and browsing history and uploads it to the hackers through Telegram. So I'm trying to skim through to see if there's any way we can kind of he advised that it was essential to check what actions any third-party code performs before downloading. I would say that. And I will also say if you're not at a level to where you can even read code or really know your way around GitHub and you kind of play with it now, I would take a pause on that. Or at the very least, only mess with projects you've seen notable people talk about or a lot of people talk about, right? I'm not talking about these closed alpha communities of only 2,000 people and you think you're the next best. It's like, no, it could be 10 people in there and the rest are hacker bots, right? I'm talking about where you see like, okay, like X, Y, like a lot of people have been using, they're playing around with, they're saying this code is real. I would just be sure, especially when you're talking about meme coins, because I can see this being an issue on the meme coin front, making a fake meme coin GitHub, such and such as the like, hyping it up, having a lot of people download it. I can see that being an actual thing. So make sure you are leery about that. And last but not least, something I talked about the other day, got to bring it up because that time of the year, Ohio introduces bill preventing state taxes on crypto payments. Now, not going to go into the ins and outs of this story. To me, the headline is a story, and that is because it doesn't matter if it actually happens right now. The discussion is what matters. I've already told you right now there's still no clear guidance and regulation on crypto. They're developing it right now, right? I mean, shout out to the Trump administration. They're the first people to actually say, hey, let's publicly develop this legislation, let's figure this out. Everyone else has just been saying, what crypto is Ethereum a security? I don't know. We're looking at you, Gary Gensler, like you're in charge. You didn't tell nobody, but you're at the same time extorting people, right? The last administration was like, we're not going to tell you right from wrong, but if you do wrong, that's your ass. And the whole time everybody like, just tell us. You're like, nope, good luck. Um, just the fact that the thought is out there is important to me, right? I keep telling you, last administration said left, this administration saying right. The next one might go back to left. Who knows? But what I do know for a fact is that if I were a crypto company being investigated or subpoenaed or being pressured by the SEC the last 3 or 4 years, and I would have caved or went out of business, like Library Credits went out of business, or some of these other companies caved and paid them their extortion fee of millions of dollars and then could operate the same way, looking at Barry Tasium and Reggie. Let's say some of these things happen. Looking at 2025, you wouldn't be here, or you'll be a super weak crypto company like myself, right? I've been in this position where it's like, oh, why aren't you the same? It's like, man, if you only knew what the SEC and some of these things are doing in the background, right? All right. Now imagine the company that says, nah, we're either not going to listen to you, or we're going to fight you until this thing like blows over. Honestly, it's like taking that prison sentence, right? Hey, you might get a new president one day. You might get pardoned. The law might change. Stop crying. You might get figured out one day. You never know. To me, this is the same thing. So now we're looking at taxes. They're talking crypto taxes. And I've been saying this. I'm saying crypto taxes for what, first and foremost? Because not even our government, like literally 5 to 10 arbitrary subjective people in the government said, yeah, we want you to pay, and there's nobody to tell us no, and you're going to pay, like, because that's all that's happened so far. I know for a fact, I'm talking like I know the guy. I know for a fact from what we've seen, Trump not paying no taxes off no meme coin token. So there will be a crypto tax discussion. It has to happen in the next couple of years, if not this year, next couple of years, because again, he's not paying taxes on that meme coin. His political opponents are going to bring that up again, and that's when we'll have this tax discussion. We already have states pushing back, like Ohio, saying, "Yeah, why are we paying state taxes on crypto payments? This doesn't even make sense, right?" Like, we already have states pushing back against it. I say hold and wait. To me personally, if the day comes where, yeah, your name comes across, boom, you do XYZ taxes, all right, be ready to pay them. But until then, this is still the wild, wild west. There is no clear regulatory guidance. And my biggest question is crypto taxes for what? For what? Like, finally, with this FTX thing, you might be able to make a case where you see what we did with FTX. That's what the crypto taxes go to. All right, maybe. But as I said before, and I stand on it, I still got an FBI report out there for some hack crypto. I've never heard anything back from the FBI or anyone else. So what are we talking about here? What am I paying taxes to? But again, this is Ohio. They're saying, hey, we want to look at state pension funds, evaluate investing in crypto exchange traded funds, and it covers the right to self-custody and crypto mining. So again, not going to go into ins and outs of it, but these are going to be conversations moving forward. So if you're one of those people who like to play it safe, if you're making that much capital, consult your tax professional, do what you need to do. But if you're one of those people who ain't made enough yet for it to be life changing or whatever else, I would say kind of just hold tight and see what happens, because um who's making the law? When was it made? How was it made? You tell me the SEC is dropping cases, but we're doing taxes today. But the president just said he's not even hiring IRS agents. I don't know. But what I do know is this: the president just did a 2 point something billion-dollar meme coin. I know the president's wife just did a meme coin. And I know we're hosting an Argentinian president who just did a meme coin rug pull. And we're talking taxes right now. Like I said, rules for thee, not for me. Smash